Hi everyone, this is Mincy and welcome back to another Tarkov guide. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to put together what is in my opinion the absolute best build for the MPX. So with that out of the way, let's get into the build. Actually, one more thing really quick, I want to thank you guys so much for all of the support on my channel recently, it really means a lot, and if you're watching this video and you're not subscribed already, go ahead and hit that button so you can stay tuned for more guides like this one. Anyways, back to the video. First of all, we are going to go and disassemble the gun so that we can start off from scratch. And once we've done that, I'm going to go to edit build. First of all, for the receiver, I'm just going to put on the Gen 1 upper receiver since this is our only option. Next up for the pistol grip, I'm going to be putting on the Grell S since it gives us plus 15 ergo, which is the most of any pistol grip. Next up for the charging bolts, I'm going to be putting on the MPX Drizzle charging handle, which also has as much as the Gen 2 ambidextrous charging handle. However, if we put on the Drizzle charging handle and we truly look at the stats, you can see that there is an inkling of less ergo. Here, let me show again. The Gen 2 actually has a very tiny amount less ergo than the Drizzle, so that's why I'm going to be staying with this charging bolt instead. Next up for the barrel, this is a high ergo and low recoil gun to begin with, so I'm going to be putting on the 14-inch barrel. Following that for the handguard, I'm going to be putting on the Midwest Industries 14-inch M-Lock handguard, which technically also has the same amount of recoil as the OEM 14-inch handguard. However, if we do put on the Midwest handguard, we can actually see that technically the OEM 14-inch barrel does have +1 recoil, and while it does have an extra 5 ergo, I'm going to show you how we easily make up for that lost ergo in just a second. So what you can do is you can put on the M-Lock cantilever mounts on the sides of your gun, which give +1 ergo each, and there are a total of 5 slots, so for a total of 5 ergo. And as you can see, there's just so many attachment slots on this gun, so you have to be careful where you're putting stuff on. Next up for the stock, I'm going to put on the Sig Sauer folding knuckle stock adapter, and once that's on our gun, we can put on the Strike Industries ARE buffer tube, following that by putting on the Daniel Defense Enhanced collapsible buttstock with the TCS 20mm butt pad. Next up for the end of our barrel, we have two main options to consider here, which are going to be the Osprey 9 sound suppressor and the Takom carbine brake. Both of them give -4 vertical recoil and -2 horizontal recoil. However, the Osprey sound suppressor takes a lot more ergo away. However, if you want to run the suppressor on this gun, that's totally fine. I personally do like to run suppressors on my gun, but for the purpose of this video, I'm going to put the Takom on just because it gives us that much more ergo. However, one thing I will say about this attachment is it does look very silly on the end of our gun because of how small it is. Next up for the underbarrel, I'm going to put on the Magpul M-Lock 4.1-inch rail, and since we already have a ton of ergonomics for this gun, I'm going to put on the Zenit RK2 tactical foregrip to get as little recoil as possible, while still having a sufficient amount of ergonomics after the fact. Following that, I'm going to put on a tactical device onto the bottom of my gun. You can choose whichever device you would like, whatever your preference is, but I'm just going to be putting on a Klesch 2P tactical flashlight. Now, another thing you can do to increase ergo on your gun is you can put on these front and rear iron sights onto your gun. Again, it's hard to find which slot to actually put them on because of all of the crazy attachment slots smushed together at the top of my screen, but I like to put on these Christofiance rear and front sight since they give us +1 ergo each, and with that our build comes to 64 ergonomics and 27 vertical recoil. And finally, to finish off the build, I'm just going to put on a 30mm ring mount, following that by putting the Voodoo scope on. However, you can choose whichever sight or scope you like the best. Now, once I've done all of that, I'm going to assemble my build, and the total cost is going to be around 180,000 rubles. However, when I went to assemble the gun, it actually didn't buy me the Voodoo for some reason, so I went back to the flea market afterwards to buy the Voodoo for roughly 90,000 rubles, so the build total came to around 270,000 rubles. Next up, we're going to be talking magazine and ammo, and my methodology here is going to be exactly similar to what I said in the PP19 gun build video. So basically, there's no reason why you shouldn't be running a 50-round magazine for this gun, considering our ergonomics are really high and we also have a super high fire rate, and once we put in that magazine, we still have a whopping 47 ergo, and our ergo still in the good blue area. Now, next up for ammo, our two main options are going to be PBP and AP. Now, while PBP does a little bit less damage than AP, 44 damage compared to 52 damage, PBP is able to pen through level level 4 armor, whereas AP isn't, and I'm going to advocate for getting the best pen as possible, so that's why I'm going to be recommending PvP. However, if you are unable to obtain this because you don't have proper level 4 yet, then AP is going to be your second best option. Next up, I'm going to test this gun out at the shooting range. As you can see, no matter what the distance is, short, medium, or even long range like right now, the recoil is extremely steady, and even once I look downrange at the super long range target, I can shoot this gun and stay on target the entire time, just showing what an absolute laser this gun is. Now, just like usual, I'm going to be taking this gun to labs to slay out some raiders and PMCs so I can get a real world feel of how this gun actually handles itself. So yeah, anyways, that's gonna be the end of the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed this guide today. If you did enjoy the guide, a like would be heavily appreciated, and subscribe for more Tarkov guides just like this one. And as always, I appreciate you all so much for watching, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. Peace.